Spike's Car Radio starts now.
I saw him on the highway, swinging mad and wild, with a pipe in hand and a devil's smile. Rains was boiling over like a stormy sea. His eyes were flames of fury aimed straight at me. Tires screeching loud, no place to hide or flee. I knew that Radimak was out and free. Radimak is free. Unchained rage is all you see. No stopping this free. Radimak is free.
Cruising down the boulevard, night so alive. Sudden flash of light, see the rage in his eyes. Pipe in his hand, he's out of control. Road turns wild, unleashing his soul. Fast lane fury, heart pounding, so free. No one's safe when he's unleashed, can't you see? Radimak is free. Madness in the street. Radimak is free. A wild beast to beat. Caught in traffic, tempers flare. Out of nowhere, standing there with a pipe swinging high. You better run, better fly. Flashing lights, he's on the loose. No excuse, no excuse. Radimak is free.
Yes, people.
Grip so tight you won't believe.
Radimak is free.
You better run, you better hide. City nights.
This is my favorite of all the songs that I wrote.
In the shadows, waiting to strike. Keep your head low.
It's my dream that next year at Coachella, this song is played.
Living wild, living fast. Radimak is free.
Yeah.
Grip so tight you won't believe. Radimak is free. You better run, you better leave.
Wow. Isn't AI amazing? Look, it's a crowd chanting Radimak, Radimak, Radimak. I have more Radimak songs. Maybe I'll play them a little later, but this is the EDM version is my favorite.
I like the Billie Eilish one.
You
know why? Can I tell you why?
Why?
He got busted at York Avenue exit, which is Highland Park, and that's where she's from.
Yes,
Just makes sense.
This has such a great dance break, though.
You like the
Listen.
dancing.
Radimak is free.
Yeah. See, I can see our friends in Germany enjoying this.
Well, of course. They're Walters.
Radimak is free.
Wow. All right, I'll turn it off.
You better run.
Again, I apologize because that, especially this last one.
Radimak is free.
Wow, so good. Welcome to Spike's Car Radio, and guess what? That guy Radimak is free.
Uh-oh.
Stop sending it to me. I know he's free. He's free. He's free, and people are really upset. All of the people that were attacked really upset.
Rightfully so.
Do you know what he was charged? Do you know what he was found guilty of?
I don't
I can tell you.
specifically, please.
Criminal threats, vandalism, assault, and elder abuse. I guess one of the people he attacked was an older person, so it's elder abuse. And he had previously been arrested for road rage, in which there were steroids found, Zuckerman. You were wondering why he did this. They found him with steroids at one point. More than $30,000 in cash was found in his car. And steroids, all right?
And no meth?
What's that?
No meth?
No.
But if he was on, like, Tran or D-Ball or one of those make you fucking angry.
And look, he was sentenced to 5 years, and he's out in about a year. And here's what happened. And I don't need you to explain this to us. Maybe I do, Zuckerman, because it's obvious. Like, no one serves their full prison sentences, okay? At the end of the day, didn't this guy just bash a few cars and scared a bunch of people? Did he hit anybody? Did he actually punch somebody? I don't know.
I think it was just vehicular damage.
Yeah, okay,
but it was cumulative. It was a lot of people.
Okay, so here we go. So according to court records, he was given credit for 424 days served and awaiting sentences, 212 for actual days in jail, and another 212 for good behavior. He was a model citizen in jail.
Well, that's close to 3 years of time I just counted right there.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, it was the 400 plus for sitting around waiting for the trial.
Yeah, there are 365 days in a year.
That's right.
That's a year.
When you totaled up that he got 400 days credit for time served while waiting, then 200 some odd days for actually being in.
Yeah, it's
and
2
then
years.
200 some odd days.
No, you're not acting up. 212 for actual days in jail he served, and another 212.
Oh, I see. That's how he got the 400.
Yes.
Yeah, discount. Well, the 400 was the 400 waiting.
Yes.
Discount that second one for good behavior.
But here's why it's in the news. Because right-wing political people are trying to blame any Democrat in California they don't like because this guy's out. But in reality, and tell everybody, nobody serves their full sentence for anything.
Unless it's really violent.
Unless they're a serial killer.
Really violent.
Yeah, no one does. And so your friend Gloria Allred, or your colleague, I think fair to say colleague, held a press conference with 3 victims, and they were not happy about it. They're shocked and disappointed.
They shouldn't be happy. If someone attacked you with a pipe and they're out of prison.
Well, but he's going to get out at some point. A year, so what? You need him in 4 more months?
4 more years would be nice.
Chances are he's going to do this again.
You think so?
Okay, he already did it once. He did it a lot of times. He seems to have deep-seated psychological, emotional, and substance abuse issues.
So you walked right into my trap, Zuckerman. So why are you trying to contact him?
Because I talk to drug addicts all the time. I'm Mr. Lieberman with his bag of drugs. Just because, I don't think he's going to attack me, Ferguson.
Do you think it was a good idea to write songs about him and play them on the show?
Sure, we need to attract him. We want to talk to him.
You do.
If he's off the steroids, though, I'd say odds are low that this won't happen again like this. But does he get his Tesla back?
Hold on, I'm playing Hitler's Penis now. Here we go. Ready? Hitler's Penis. All right, sorry.
Does he get the Tesla back?
I don't know. But here's the good news. And thanks, listeners, for pointing it out 1,000 times in my DMs. No birthday messages, just, guess what? There's a Canadian Radimak in North Vancouver.
Ooh.
The RCMP, I'm guessing that's the police.
Royal Mounted Police, Canadian Police.
Sikh Tesla driver who assaulted senior with a baton.
Excellent. Copycat crime.
That's right. They're going after a guy. They don't know who this is. He's a Tesla driver, followed a man home until the victim pulled over, approached his car, and then struck the victim in the face with a baton. They're calling him the Radicanuck. No, that's just what I'm calling.
Oh, okay. That was very good. No, did this happen after Radimak was released from prison? Is there a chance he got up to Vancouver?
Wow, that's a good point.
Yeah,
yes.
Same coast.
Look, you're a regular Bosch doing some detective work.
That's right.
All right, but, dear listener, I've spent a little time thinking, and I'm going to throw out a theory here about Radimak. Because, Zuckerman, you did get me thinking about Radimak and motives and everything, and here's where I've landed on this. And tell me what you think, all right? I'm going to wait for you to stop playing with your phone. Here's what I think. When we're all in traffic, and I mean all, the people of Los Angeles, the people of California, the people wherever you're listening, you're in traffic. Every drive, somebody cuts you off, and you have those Radimak feelings.
Correct.
I believe there must have been something happening in the universal vortex or a lightning strike, and it took all of our emotions and turned it into a human.
So you're saying he's a vector for our collective unconscious rage?
Yes. Remember
he
the
is.
movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Yes, he's our cipher.
Yes.
We made him with our feelings and our own road
He's
rage.
like the golem.
Yes.
He's a reflection of our culture and what's in the zeitgeist.
He's Frankenstein's monster of L.A.
Yeah, and he came into being because of us.
Yes,
because of how we feel.
We unconsciously willed him into existence. Good theory, Spike.
Wow.
Very Freudian. Now suck on your cigar. Go for it.
This is a
Hey,
really
sometimes a cigar is just a big brown phallus.
Yeah, but we don't know where Radimak went. And
Vancouver sounds like.
He might be there.
Ran to the border.
Our friends up in the north, you got to be careful because you never know. Anyway, let's talk about Wrist Aficionado. Miami, New York, Beverly Hills. The guys and ladies to go to if you want to get a cool watch. I was there today, right before I came there. Playing with sorts. Do you like to play with sorts?
Sorts?
High to low, low to high, high to low, low to high. I started with, at Wrist Aficionado, I went with low to high.
Okay.
And they had those Swatch Blanc Pan. They had 5 of those.
Couple, the ones that are dark, the black one's good.
They were $1,200. That was the cheapest watch they had there. Then I went to the high. Again, $2.5 million.
Well,
And it was,
Yeah.
the Richard Mille. And then they have everything in between.
yeah.
This site is fantastic. I really love these guys. If
Great
you
guys.
are in one of these places in Miami, New York, Beverly Hills, stop in to see them. It's not just watches. They have purses. They have jewelry. It's one of those fun sites like Bring a Trailer if you just want to go and dream a little bit and see something beautiful that you want to work towards. They have it. Or if you got that big money and you're in the market for Richard Mille, something beautiful like that.
$2.5 million.
They have sought-after modern production pieces. All are in stock, 100% authenticated by experts. More specialized pieces that can be sourced within a day of a global network of trusted guys. And a 1-year limited warranty by Wrist Aficionado. You got to check them out. Go to wristaficionado.com and check it out. Check it out. Experience visiting the boutique, potentially working on sourcing a piece that you're looking for, or just go in and chat. Chat about cool watches. They love to talk watches.
You know, if you go in, what I like about it is they have, 50 really great watches on display, and then when you break the guy down a little bit, he's like, "Let me show you what I really have," and he opens the vault.
Really?
And then it's like, oh my god! And it's
They
just,
have a vault? I mean, the whole site is like a vault.
no, but at the physical store, they have watches on display.
No,
but
I
then
get it,
Yeah,
but-
and then they have they open a door, and there's more that comes out, and the stuff that comes out is like, oh my god! It's like MBNF and crazy RMs and just other stuff like that. It's really cool.
Is it all rather modern, or is it also vintage?
It seems to be mostly modern, but they had like a Agmar Piguet that was like from '68 that was pretty cool, like a non-Royal Oak.
Right.
They had an Omega that was '60s, so it's mostly modern, but they have some. But I don't know, the site, they probably have all kinds of stuff. This is just what they have at the Beverly Hills store.
It's good stuff. I took young Jack Ferriston, opened the garage door and pointed at the GT3 RS and said, "Can we drive that today in Malibu?" And I said, "Sure, let's do that." My whole morning got blown out, tennis-wise. So I said, "Let's drive. This is going to be fun." We took the car up to the canyons. I let him take the wheel, and we drove up. I had heard the Snake was open. The Snake is not open.
No.
I can tell you. He's that Subaru driver, so he was just loving life, just driving it like a Subaru.
Good for him.
I kept having to encourage him to go the speed limit, but he was just enjoying. I said, "What did you think about this thing?" He goes, "It's really tight, isn't it?" And I go, "Yeah."
When you said encourage him, was he speeding or not going fast enough?
He was not going fast enough. We're not, we don't. The kids are really well trained and really behave in cars, and I would never let them take it alone since it's our car. But just had a great time. But of note, we came back down and we went to the place that replaced Bill's Malibu Kitchen. What do they call it? Rick's Malibu Lunch Shack or something.
Well, you know how it became. First, it was Chris's Steakhouse, and then it became Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah.
This will be Scott's Bill's Malibu.
It's Scott's
Kitchen.
Bill's Malibu. I keep calling it Rick's Malibu Snack Shack.
Right.
And it was, I pulled up the car into one of the old spots. The spots were open. It was a Sunday. There were some other cars there. I went, things are kind of working again.
Flashback.
I sent you guys pictures. We went inside and it was very different. Bill had had a lot of character. He brought a beautiful idea to, why don't I bring a New York deli to Malibu with my own fresh take and load it up with all sorts of artifacts and things. This doesn't have that. It's a little empty. But still, I felt like I was time traveling in a different dimension. I was sitting there going, this feels familiar. But again, this is not my world. This wasn't the world. But I think, and then I texted you and Jerry said, "We're going to be there. We're going. We're doing it."
We'll do it.
And I think it's a new era of Malibu driving for us. I think it's about to begin again, Zuckerman. I think it's about to start.
But
We've been missing that. But what?
how was the food?
I would say the coffee was 5% better.
Okay. Low bar, but okay.
I didn't eat the food, but Jack had a great croissant. That was decent. Again,
Okay.
but it wasn't that. Here's what it was. And we love Bill. And Bill, I'm sorry. But it's about the porch. It's just about sitting on the porch in the elevation and looking at the cars. You could put anything back there. Bill's was spectacular, but honestly, you could put any food. You could sell like day-old donuts back there, and it would be fine for me. I just like sitting. We drove, we sat, and then we went to the canyons, and by noon, I had a great day.
It's an excellent vantage point up there. The pictures I saw, it looks very antiseptic. It looks like a brand new airport lounge, like a Delta Sky Lounge.
As if someone said, let's put a pop-up food thing there with a questionable color scheme. But
was the feel.
Here's the flip side. Everything is fresh and new and clean. New tables.
Bill.
The porch is brand new. It's done. There were handsome young people working there. Everything was quick. It wasn't too busy. It was way more expensive.
That's a shame.
I think I had a croissant, a cup of coffee, and an orange juice with $30.
Shut up.
See, that was one of the great things about Bill's is you could get like a Reuben for like, $16 and it was good.
Yes, but we're all replaceable, including me. We're all replaceable.
Yeah.
And it seems like the next generation of thing has taken over, and I found myself a little excited until Bill, opens up his joint. I think we have a little stop.
Is the sitting on the porch feel is similar?
No, it's a little tight. They're new tables, but here's the good news: they still wobble.
Okay.
They're still wobbly.
Yeah.
And you're sitting a little close to everyone, but you could move them if you want. But again, there wasn't like tables and chairs with cakes of bird shit on them.
Right. But remember when Sam through Glass was in town and we went to the Palisades to the Caruso Nightmare? Like that was terrible. Like in terms of like
I like that.
The ambiance.
It's awful there.
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
That's
what I'm saying?
That's another kind of fake futuristic existence place.
And what was nice about Bill's was there was an authenticity to it.
Bill was infused in it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not there anymore.
Okay.
Bill will have to do that in the next place.
That's been Cloroxed out of the place.
Got it. Okay.
But Bill's whole online cookie thing is taking off. Like
good.
he's real. He's what do they call it? The pivot. What's the Harvard Business School? The inflection point.
The inflection point. He's shitting cookies, and it's turning into money.
No, not yet. He just makes the cookies and sells them nationally now, and they're in all of the cool places, Erewhon's and all these other. He's got his own thing going on.
Good for him.
So
that's good.
So I think it all sorts itself out. And our friend from New York got really excited about it. We're gonna go. We're gonna drive there.
All right.
It's gonna be fun. And this may pick up the car hobby again. I may drop all my morning tennis now to do this and drive.
But how long till it gets shut down?
What shut down?
When the landlords start complaining again and shut this place down.
Well, we're not going to throw a car show there. I'm talking about us going there.
Yeah, but like the car show that was
that
thrown.
was COVID. That was
COVID. It's
just
different.
100% COVID.
Yeah.
No, well, but that was a big factor in people being desperate for a place to go to.
But that was remember every week we'd go and it's like, hey, I'm from Ohio. I came out to. See you guys.
People are still doing that.
Okay.
There were a lot of people that were actually showing up, and there were a lot of cars on the road, and there were a lot of police officers on the road, and there were a lot of radar traps on the road, and there were a lot of terribly slow left lane tourist driving on the road.
Please, if you come to our town, don't make U-turns and don't try to parallel park, being stopped in the right lane for extended periods of time.
So here it is.
Here's a fucking beach from your car with your iPhone.
Yeah.
No one's gonna. It doesn't work.
So here we are. So it's that fella, that writer that's always hanging out around Bill's and at Zinc and that guy.
Disheveled fella.
He wrote the piece. 1 year.
That's a nice way to put it.
I said to Jack, I go, this is an historic day for us. This is the beginning of a whole new Malibu thing. 1 year, 8 months, 23 days later, Rick's Malibu Snack Shack is open, and we're going to be bringing our cars there on the weekend. And feel free to bring yours.
Is that what you said? That's what he wrote?
That's what that guy said. He said it's been 1 year, 8 months, 23 days.
Well, you interviewed him.
Since
no,
he showered?
Since he
said a racist comment? No.
Since Bill washed the blood off his hands. And it was...
Since his trust fund ran out.
Since he wiped his butt.
Well, now we have a few places. We have Cafe Lux, we have Zinc, and we have Rick's Holiday Snack Shack, whatever he calls
Bill's, Rick's, Bill's Steakhouse. Well, like, what the fuck's with that Ruth's Chris Steakhouse?
You got the story exactly right. It's Chris's steak.
I know, but it's such a mouthful of marbles.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Speaking of mouthful of marbles.
And marbles and mashed potatoes.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Bill, don't compare yourself to Rick's Holiday Snack Shack. It's easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they have it all together on their Instagram. But in reality, they probably don't. Therapy can help you focus on what you want. Quiet.
Not your penis.
Instead of what others have. See, Radimak could use some better help. So they can start living your own best life. Maybe Radimak, this is the opportunity. We get Radimak some free better help, and we turn him into a productive citizen.
Or he's a bouncer at Rick's.
He could be cookie salesman for Bill. I want fucking cookies.
Quiet.
Or I'll fucking kill you.
It's very helpful to learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Don't you believe that there's a good person in everyone, even Radimak?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Even Hitler, yes.
Well, you know what they say about Hitler? They say...
What do they say about Hitler?
They say, was Hitler as an infant? Is Hitler as an infant evil? That's what psychology will say. Is the Hitler baby evil? What would you say, Zuckerman?
Well, you saw the movie The Exorcist? Was Linda Blair evil?
No, but I'm being serious. At one point, he was emotionally traumatized, and he turned into that bad guy. And maybe, not Hitler, but maybe Radimak and BetterHelp could work. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing. Start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Spike911 to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Spike911. And come on. All three of us have been in therapy, right? Each one of us. There you go.
Many times.
And it's helped to varying degrees.
Many times.
Varying degrees.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why we are the way we are.
That's not a good advertisement for therapy.
So there's more Malibu news. I just want to continue because it just seems like it's continuing. I could stay on Malibu the whole show. A bill has been placed on the governor's desk that just needs a signature now from our governor, Gavin Newsom. To put speed cameras on the PCH.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, once this bill's on the governor's desk, doesn't that mean we're done?
He has a habit of not doing stuff like that. So
Senate Bill 1297 was authored by State Senator Ben Allen and Assembly Member Yaqui Irwin, both of whom represent the town of Malibu in their respective districts. 5 cameras would be placed along a 21-mile stretch of the PCH in strategic locations that have been identified as high risk, having the highest incidence of speed-related collisions and fatalities. What do you think, Zuckerman?
So Zuckerman, aren't 90% of all speed cameras eventually challenged in court, and the judges always toss them out because they're always cheating and doing something off the...
That's what I thought.
There's a lot of problems with the foundational evidence. They don't calibrate the things. They don't maintain them. As a matter
or they
of,
cheat.
Yeah, as a matter of civil liberties, it's always been disfavored. Although the whole world is a camera right now. The reason the state has that this is on the governor's desk is that PCH is Highway 1, which means it's Caltrans, which means that it's a state-controlled entity.
Do you have Vegas COVID from your Vegas trip?
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I sounded like last week.
It could just be the wind of cigars that you're killing me with, but I also...
No, you called. Remember, I talked to you on the phone. You said you have COVID. I said, why? He goes, your voice. And I said, no, I'm fine.
On Friday night, I talked to 300 people in that wretched Vegas air. It was so loud. It was so awful. It did destroy my voice.
Okay, if you know the answer to this, does the speed camera... Is it like the red light camera, like you have to pass a certain line and then it will trigger it, or can it look down the road and give you a ticket?
It can look down the road and give you a ticket. It can tell at a certain spot how fast you're going.
But once you're marking it on Waze, which is exceptional, we weren't speeding on a PCH today. We know to drive courteously, and Waze there were 3 radar traps. Waze had all of them. I had advanced warning, and I just was like right on the nose, 50 miles an hour or 45. Like the speed trap would be marked, right?
Well, exactly, and that's why when they say strategic, it really is like putting the cop car with the dummy in it. On the road, it has an effect. It does chill your speed that you're driving at, and so maybe in that sense, for all of that money, just put five stupid cop cars with inflatable dummies in there.
I'm still going to keep advocating for no U-turns, some sort of divider, some sort of signs that say "stay to the right," just the basic. If you
could figure out how to do no U-turns and allow for areas of parking that don't impede the flow of traffic. You get so many people hogging in the left lane because they're afraid to drive in the right lane because of the people pulling in and out. And then, I hate to say, sharing the road with bicyclists on PCH.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I say to them, I know these bicycle people want to ride bicycles. I can't think of a worse place to ride a bicycle.
Angeles Crest, but yes, I agree.
Sure.
There's a lot of them on Angeles Crest.
Really?
Yes, oh my God.
Yeah.
Constant.
Yeah.
Constant.
Constant. I guess you could ride into a wheat thresher would be more dangerous, but those, yes.
But it's going to just become like Italy. They put in speed cameras like a decade ago, and now the Autostrada is just it's a rally stages. So everyone knows exactly where the speed cameras are. So you jam the brakes.
Yeah.
As soon as you pass them, go to the next camera, jam the brakes. And so
I love Italians.
I love Italians, but there's no flow. You know what I mean? It's like it's not good.
There's no flow.
There's no flow.
Well, if Mr. Newsom decides to sign this, and Gavin, I know you listen to the show. I don't think you should sign this one. I think you should call us and we should talk about solutions. We all want death to stop on the PCH. One of the first things we need to do is just round up the Lamborghini guys, but we'll get to that. But I don't think if you sign this, I may have to run against you.
Uh-oh.
I may have to.
Governor Ferriston.
But here's another reason why I may not. Because in the same day, Gavin Newsom has convened a special session to prevent gas price spikes to save Californians money at the pump. He's finally had it with these corrupt oil companies.
Finally.
And you know the scam they run,
yes,
right?
Of course.
The seasonal blends and all of that. And then every few weeks, there's a refinery fire.
Or scheduled maintenance that's unscheduled.
Right. And he finally called their bluff, and he's getting together his group, and he's saying, you need to start stockpiling since we can kind of look at our clock and tell when you're going to have the next fire. We understand what you're going to do there. So there's going to be a special session. You should call the governor's office and tell them you want this. This is all going to
advocating
help.
for communism.
But the idea is we're on to your scam. Just put it in gas and tanks so when you do have the fire and the maintenance, you don't have to overcharge us because you're just price gouging us at this point.
And by the way, when they raise the price, it's not like they're running out of gas.
No, they're not.
Plenty of it to sell.
There's a direct correlation to their stock price. It goes up. It's just pure profit.
Yeah, and the real shit part is that they get a huge tax break just for being a gas company.
Yes,
it's like 25%
poisoning the environment.
Yeah, you get. I think it's like your first 25% of profits, if you're a quote unquote energy producer, are untaxed.
They'd say price spikes are actually profit spikes for big oil.
Of course.
They're using the same old scare tactics to maintain the status quo. And, they're a big lobby in California, and everybody's been in bed with them. I'm sure the Gavin Newsom has as well. But enough's enough.
Yeah.
Stop ripping us off.
Why is our gas more expensive?
Why do we have to get caught up in this?
Yeah,
leave us out of it. We just want to live.
Why is our gas more expensive than Oregon? We produce oil.
Yeah.
They don't.
Fuck
Their gas
Oregon.
is cheaper. Fuck Oregon.
Wait, let's
invade. Send in Radimak.
That's what we're doing. We're going to invade Oregon. As you know, set politics aside. I just want government to take care of people. I want them to take care of people. I want government to make our lives better. Our lives. And I see, who I see screwing it up? Companies, corporations. They're horrible. They're horrible. What else did I have here?
Governor Ferriston, 2028.
I don't have the heart to run. Have you ever, my wife's involved in politics, and whenever I go to any of her things and I meet the people who are actually in the audience,
you want to kill
I'm
yourself?
just like, they are a level of crazy that I've never seen before.
Right.
And I've
seen crazy.
seen crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fans of Hollywood things are a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You met some of the folks.
Gadflies, though.
Some of the podcast fans are a little out there.
The most wonderful people on earth.
I like how Ferguson just said, I don't have the heart to run. Like he actually has a chance at winning. Oh, yes. Yes, I know I can make a credible campaign. My heart's not in it.
Yeah.
But I will keep the super PAC.
Zuckerman, that's not why I'm saying it. You want to know why I'm saying it? Because I learned early on in entertainment, like 5% of any audience will believe anything that you say. So you have to really spell it out. But yeah, you're right. I have no delusions that I could ever run for anything.
I'd love to run the country, but my heart's just not in it.
Zuckerman, now
take John Adams.
I will take the super PAC money and fuck off. But that's
he's like John Adams.
That would be a really good
government.
really good idea.
Yeah, I've learned from somebody. With a great big super PAC.
Yeah.
Take that money. It's good for anything.
Super PACs are great.
Yeah. Use it for whatever you want.
From what I've seen, government
legal defense
Yeah.
would not be fun in any way.
No, plus you got to be in Sacramento. Think about that.
What's that?
You'd have
That's
to
the
be
part
in
I liked.
Think about how hot it is today.
Yeah,
And
but-
imagine what Sacramento's like right
Yeah,
now.
but you go, all right, family, Sunday night. I gotta go. I'll see you guys Friday night.
But then you're in Sacramento. It's not like you're going
I
to
know.
San
There's
Diego.
easier ways to handle that than going to Sacramento.
I bring Zuckerman there. I bring you there.
No, move the capital to San Diego.
Why don't we move the capital to Baldwin Hills
or,
right
or
here?
Santa Barbara? Somewhere
Why
nice.
don't we bring it right here?
Capitol Hill. Here we are at the Capitol.
Yeah, this is the capital.
I'm going to sign
governor's
some
mansion.
decrees right now.
Some executive orders.
Yes.
Go ahead, Zuckerman.
Yes.
What would be your first executive order?
Where do you? Well, there'd be. We would all have to be filthy rich. Okay.
So you're just going right for the corruption.
Isn't that what it's all about?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you can clothe it. You can
I have
dress
not
it up.
seen any side of government that is not a little corrupt and all about money and a lot about business.
Can you appoint me to a bunch of boards? I'm just like a supervisor.
What kind of sandwich board?
No, I want to be
cheese
like
board.
a supervisor, and I just like collect a paycheck
Just
for
think what we could do
advising.
for the car community. It's just a loan. Seriously, what we could do for everybody.
First thing we're going to do is have a series of vans, Governor Ferguson vans. They all have $100 bills packed to the gills, and someone just drives around, Johnny in particular, just hands money out to people.
You know what I would do? I would say, look, with a classic car, let's say, how about before 1980, you register it every 5 years.
Ooh.
No smogs. Forget about smogs.
Like this.
I'm back on the parking meter stuff. I'm going to say there's got to be there's one day a week you don't have to pay the parking meters, and you get a refund on your unused parking money.
You know what else I would do?
They have the technology for that.
Of course they do.
Here's another thing that I
Trust
would
me.
do. I would go right after the car insurance people and get affordable car insurance for everybody. I'd go right after them, or you don't do business here in
Affordable
California.
and the right amounts, because people are woefully underinsured at excessively high
Absolutely.
prices.
These are the types of things I think we need. You got a loud exhaust, you're okay with me. There's no more problems with loud exhausts.
What about the Lamborghinis in Malibu?
Those guys, we string them up.
We round them up.
Yeah.
Where did they intern those people in World War II? We put them
Manzanar.
We put them in Manzanar.
Wow. What if they're Japanese Lamborghini owners?
Yes.
Don't do that.
It's no Japanese Lamborghini owners, mind you.
Oh, no. It's a big
I
market.
do have a problem, though, because I love Lamborghinis. I do love them. They are great to drive.
But it's the guys in Malibu. That's the
I don't
problem.
even know if it's the Malibu.
Oh, it's definitely the Lamborghinis in Malibu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones the police are upset with.
All right, you both have my vote. Fait accompli.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's just basic stuff.
Yep.
And then I'd have to do a free healthcare thing for my wife, and and then she'd be nice to me. That would be good. So you'd come to California, you get free healthcare.
Can you solve homelessness?
Single payer healthcare. Yes, I
They
can.
speak over the Lamborghini guys.
Oh, I could.
They coexist.
Oh, I could totally do that. I could totally do that.
I feel like you could. I want to hear this.
I really feel like I could, but it would be boring to talk about.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
And I'd just be in charge of the pork barrel. Paul's pork barrel. Just sit here.
But yeah, there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that. It's complex, but there's a way to do it.
Soylent Green. It's made of people. Is it something along those lines?
I would like to help those people. I can say I call them poor people or people with mental, again, single-payer health care, not to bore you, would fix a lot of that because those people could get the medical help. They could get the detox. They could get the stuff. They could get a leg up. They could help them.
Yep.
They're just poor people without homes. We don't want to help them.
The solution to homelessness is homes.
Well, it's addressing what sent them homeless anyways. Let's talk about cars. All right. There's more car stuff to talk about. Did you guys read this story? There's a lot of California car news. Community stands up with bullying victim with donations and a drive to school. This middle schooler, this nice kid, Carter Lashall. And Carter, I don't know if that's how you pronounce your last name. Lashall?
I guarantee that's not how you pronounce it.
Was the victim of bullying, where bullies made him lick their shoes.
What?
That's right.
How Radimak is made.
Until the folks at Porsche Bakersfield and some of the high school students and some of the teachers got together and said, we're not gonna put up with this. And they put together, they picked him up in luxury cars. It looked like a McLaren P1, a bunch of Porsches, and he came to school in a McLaren. With press, with lots of cheering kids, with lots of cheering teachers, and shamed the two bullies that did this.
Good.
How great is that?
That's great.
Porsche Bakers, who knew that there was a Porsche dealership in
CJ, that's CJ's dealership.
No, he's in Fresno. He's in Fresno.
Bakersfield. Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in Bakersfield.
But how great is that?
Oil money.
And almond money.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to see that? See, this is my dream for the car community.
What do they
All
do
of these
to
people
the-
trying to keep us out of Malibu, Zuckerman. And look, this is what they do. They help Carter. They drive him to school in a cool car, and they make his life
Did they
better.
take the other two kids around back and give them a little what for?
Yeah, they closed their heads. No, they're kids. They made mistakes. I don't know what they did, but I just like that the classic car community and the modern, I guess, new car and the Porsche community did something nice for once.
That's great.
Something nice. Speaking of nice, let's talk about Blue Chew.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew, and if you want to be as hard as the summer day is long, then get yourself a little Blue Chew. God, I've been doing these ads without my glasses. No wonder it's been hard.
You need Blue Chew for your eyes.
Zuckerman.
Blue Chew for your eyes.
Blue Chew is
For
unique on...
surfacing, submerging.
Titanicing.
Surfacing is... you can surface when you have Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of a cost and in chewable form. You know, I have that Yahoo page that I check the news on, and I can tell it's geared towards women 50 years and older. And there are lots of like, hey, it's Elizabeth Hurley at 57th birthday naked, and, Heidi Klum naked. It's all...
Heather Graham looks great.
And they were talking about surfacing, why women are excited about surfacing, and I never heard about what that was, and now I know what it is.
You want to tell me?
No, I get the feeling you are a surfacer, but it's you're putting the hot dog in the bun on the backside. It's that simple. Anyways, the process is simple. I want to do it.
But you need Blue Chew to really do it right.
Go to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their hot licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, right around the corner here, as a fact. It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. I think we're beyond these conversations, frankly, as a culture. I think we're all just open about everything at this point. You can take them anytime, day or night, even while you're sleeping. Put them in your cheek and they dissolve. And then you're ready when the opportunity arises. And Blue Chew wants to help you get better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for you, the Spike's Car Radio Nation. Try Blue Chew free. That's right. Free Blue Chew. Free. With code SPIKE911 at checkout, you just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code SPIKE911 to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. It's been quite a road with Blue Chew.
Up and down. Tell me, what is a month's supply of Blue Chew? Is that 30? Is that 15? What do they consider a month's supply to be?
That's a good question. I have the packet at home, but I got to open it.
Open it up.
I think it's 5. I think it's 5.
You get 5 for the whole month?
I don't know, but it's a lot.
5?
I mean, yeah.
Well, let's find out. Let's just go order it. You can have it anytime you want. They always want to offer us Blue Chew.
Okay. But I think a month's supply should be more than 5.
You're operating all right in that department? Are you all right?
I could use as much Blue Chew as they want to send me.
Back the
What
truck
about
up.
you, Johnny?
I'm fine. Everything's fine. At the moment.
I mean, it's just got such a catchy name. I just want to buy it and chew on it while I'm watching Netflix. But.
I want to have the little packet, and then when I put my wallet on the table at lunch, just put that on top of it. Cell phone,
Hey,
wallet,
honey.
Blue Chew packet. Hey,
Right.
waitress, I have a month's supply of Blue Chew. What are you doing for the rest of the month?
You remember when we went down the road on those ice creams with that 1-900 ice cream?
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
guys in Philly who we love, the great ice cream. We designed a bunch of Blue Chew ice cream with blue M&Ms. We could never figure out how to sell it at a price point that would make sense for the listeners, but the ice cream was delicious. Zuckerman, yours had Blue Chew in it, but it was blue M&Ms, it was caramel, and it was vanilla. And
With Blue Chew.
we called it Blue Chew, but
Oh,
it
you
obviously
didn't actually,
was
like,
not
chop
Blue Chew.
and,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
The only problem we have, because they're a local shop, and they were just picked, I think, one of the top 5 ice creams in the United States. 1-900 ice cream. They're big fans of the show, but to send it 6 pints, it was going to be hundreds of dollars, and I didn't want to have to pitch everybody on that. So they made the ice cream and they sold it locally, and.
So they don't have a national distributorship. I can't walk down to the Ralphs over here and get this stuff.
Places like that with great, you ever hear of Grater's ice cream in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
They went national at one point. Eventually, it's a new company. But you have to have infrastructure and send stuff, and it's got to be affordable.
I'm
You don't wanna
personally a fan of McConnell's. That's my brand.
McConnell's is great.
Lieberman?
Great ice cream.
I've been kind of getting really back into Ben and Jerry's, like those. They have one called Caramel Sutra, which is just like it's 1,200 calories a pint or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
I started buying the little mini ones just so
Yeah.
I didn't go down a bad road.
That's a good idea. I should do that because I bought like 3, and then when they're in the house, you just fucking eat them.
If you open a
You know.
pint, you're going through to the bottom.
Because you're on like the 3rd episode of House of the Dragon, and
Yes.
you're like, well, it's 11 at night. I might as well. And then
You're
now
cursing
you're fat again. Yeah,
showrunner Ryan Condal.
That's right. I watched the 2nd season.
It's great.
It was much better than the 1st season.
I loved it.
I hope there's a 3rd. It was really good.
There is. They're
Good.
shooting it.
Good. It was really
What about
good.
Tulsa King? When does that come out? Or is
Coming back.
Oh.
There's a lot of good stuff on TV, Zuckerman. I'm glad you asked. It's coming back very soon.
Every time I turn my TV on, I see Paramount Plus, and I'm like, am I really paying $100 a year
Yes.
to wait for season 2 of Tulsa King?
Yes. No,
I guess I am.
You buy it and then you get rid of it when you're done.
No, I know. I still have it, though.
There may not be a Paramount Plus. Very
That's
true.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. That's why we're doing podcasts now. It's all about the podcast. What are you driving, Johnny?
I'm driving a Lincoln Nautilus. This is a fascinating vehicle. It's a midsize SUV. Sort of competes with let's say a Lexus RX or a BMW X5. And it's got one of the most impressive interiors. Like it really, I sat in it and it just kind of instantly blew me away. It's like really well done, chunky luxury. Like everything feels really good. The seats are incredible. It's got this massive 48-inch screen that goes from like the A pillar to the A pillar.
I saw it. That's very cool.
And it's totally configurable, and you can put all kinds of different, you can have like weather and the trip info and tire pressure, or you could swap that out for like fuel economy, your music, or whatever you want. There's different themes. It's got different scents like Mercedes did, but Mercedes only has 1 scent. This has 3 different scents on board.
Scents.
Yeah, like
Smells.
a perfume. Yeah.
I never really got into that.
No,
idea.
I only want the car to smell like how it was made.
Yeah.
Yeah, although these are kind of okay. They're not like
But
overbearing.
don't you end up like huffing them? Like,
Oh yeah,
they
yeah.
get into your
poison.
system.
Well, I mean, it's either that or you're actually huffing all the glue that's melting in 100-degree weather.
I do like the glue.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
the
the
glue's
new
good.
car smell.
Sure.
Yeah,
but it's just a very
but you like it.
it's a very convincing luxury vehicle, and it actually drives very well. It's it's not a sports car, but it if you put it in, it's called Excite mode. It actually handles well.
Blue Chew mode.
Yeah.
Radimak mode.
And it's got cool like lighting. Like when you walk up to the car, the taillight starts doing stuff, and it does a little light show, and it does on the front of the grill. And it's a nice
Lincoln's hanging in there, huh?
They've been like towing the line of making really good SUVs for like 5 years, and this is the first one that's like, oh yeah, okay, they really like achieve something.
Out of hospice.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you tell me that they make this in China, and that's
the
probably
weird thing.
Well, that's a necessity now because so many of the car companies that were making big money in China have been booted out. So obviously, the Chinese government, playing smart, is saying if you want to sell in our market, you have to make in our market and let us steal your technology for our market.
And that big wraparound screen that's very Chinese. If you look at a lot of Chinese EVs, the new ones, they all have screens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
where
that's
comes
kind
from.
of what this design.
It's a
motif
really
is.
interesting new design cue. I really liked it. I saw it immediately and went, "That's cool. I like that."
And there's just some neat stuff too, like like cruise control buttons on the steering wheel. Right?
Yeah.
So on this they're blank, but when you put your thumb on the button on the screen, so in other words, your eyes are already focused out. You know, you're not looking down at the steering wheel. It does a visual representation of the button, so it tells you like whatever your thumb's touching, that's what it does. So it's just really smart. It's a really neat use of technology.
Your thumb's on your penis.
No, Spike. That's a
move it
different
up.
car. It's the Blue Chew Mobile. But yeah, no, it's cool. I mean,
So do you think this type of screen is going to be in a lot of different cars?
Oh yeah. Every Cadillac's going to have them. Yeah, it's. I don't know necessarily. It seems that Ford and General Motors are going from the A-pillar to A-pillar wraparound screens because there was that company Byton that was trying to do that. And I was always like, well, what? I don't get it. How's it going to work? But this works. This is the first time I've seen it in a U.S. market vehicle where it works great. And I showed you, if you're overwhelmed, too much information, you hit calm and just boom, it all goes away.
Yeah. There's a lot of calm modes.
And it does like a cool little there's 4 different I don't know themes, but it does like a cool like desert or the constellation, and it just looks nice at
So
night.
it's from A-pillar to A-pillar, but there's also a command screen that's where a radio would be on an old car.
Yeah, and that's the touch screen you use. Yeah. This one's out of your reach. This is just visual information, and you control everything through the little center screen. The little center screen could be better if you're gonna nitpick the car in any way. Like that could be it could be tilted a little bit. It could work better. It could be more legible in sunlight, but. Man, and the back seat's even nicer than the front seat, and it's yeah, I'm into it. Well, when's the last time I talked about a Lincoln?
I know. And you said, "Come on, let's look at the Lincoln," and I said, "I'd rather not."
You did say that,
and then we went out, and I was like, "This is pretty cool."
Yeah.
They got me.
What I thought was weird was that it was the seat of the seat where your left thigh and right thigh you could raise and lower each side of the seat.
So
that's strange.
It seemed gimmicky, but on a road trip, how you just you shift your body around so that you can actually lower your left leg and keep your right leg up, or vice versa. And it just makes road trips better. And the seat's like, I forget, it's like 4-way adjustable, and it's a really good seat. And again, the back seats are even more comfortable because you sink down into them further. And it's like it's what's cool about it is they're not copying the Germans. Like Cadillac for years, they're like, we're just going to copy the Germans. Like we're going to put carbon fiber on leather on Alcantara and do just make it like as German as possible. And this is just like almost mid-century with Chinese futurism kind of approach to luxury, and it's different. I think it's cool. And instead of a Lexus RX, buy one of these. Why not?
Although you say it's not German, I was in one of those. What was it? An iX4, something?
Oh, just the iX. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
And that has a very modernistic interior that's somewhat along the lines of this. Would you say?
Yeah. The iX is, first of all, they're everywhere. Suddenly, you're seeing a lot of them.
Right price,
and that's a good vehicle. That's just a really good driving, calm, nice escape vehicle.
Yeah,
yeah, it's good.
There you go.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Cool car.
Yeah.
I've been digging deep in electric motorcycles. It's absolutely bonkers, these things, these Sarans and these Talarias, and my son these kids. The only thing I can think of is when the birth of skateboarding, what this whole thing that's going on in Southern California, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. These kids modify their bikes. They put on new controllers. So James put on this new controller. His battery, which I think was supposed to have a 5-year lifespan, is fried. It's cutting out. He's got the 60. He's like, it's the 60 volt. I need the 72 volt. I'm like, what? He goes, I fried my battery. So, we're calling Florida, the guys EDMX 900 controllers in Florida. You're talking to great guys in Florida, and they sell this thing. Let's do all this troubleshooting. We're having a great afternoon. Nothing's working, though, with it. And I said, James, I know it's the battery. I know it's the battery. We try everything. We call our local mechanics. We try everything. It's the battery. I go, all right, we'll buy a new battery for Suron.
How much is that?
And the guy goes, yeah, upgrade to a 72 volt. What do you think?
I have no clue.
$3,000.
Holy shit.
Which is $1,000 or $2,000 less than what the whole bike costs.
Yeah.
Zuckermand.
Is that a hard no to the kid, or are you going to do it?
Oh, it's a total hard no to the kid. And I'm like, you got $3,000 to put in your, and he goes, no. And I go, all right, you better get on your network. They're on these group texts like we are. I'll get on the network and see who's got a used battery and get another 60 volt. And a minute later, a kid comes over for a few $100. He had upgraded to a 72 volt. The point of the story, though, is there is big money in these bikes, Zuckerman. These kids driving around are spending thousands of dollars.
They are creating a culture.
And I'm
like
talking
you
to the
said.
mechanic in the Palisades, and he's like, yeah, these, they got 15 or 20 grand in their bikes.
Jesus.
In their electric bikes.
Is this going to be an Olympics event? Better than breakdancing?
The way they ride, for sure. But, I say all of this because I would love one of these companies to come on board Spike's Car Radio. Talaria, Suron. They're all
Is
out of
Suron
China.
still in business?
Yeah, they're out of China, I think. But, yeah. Let's come aboard.
Yeah.
Get us some stuff to review. Get us some stuff to ride. And it sucked me in. Like I was, on Instagram Reels just watching. There's this guy, the Saronster, who I messaged not knowing who he was. He's essentially the Jay Leno of electric bikes. He wears a helmet. He's got millions of fans on YouTube. No one knows his identity. And I messaged him a couple years ago. I said, hey, my son wants one of these bikes. He goes, I'll sell you one of these and this. And then I said, I go, what's your name? He goes, I'm the Saronster. And I'm like, oh, cool. I think my son might know who you are. Maybe you can do a little video message. He goes, sure. And we gave him the bike and for Christmas. And
what kind
he plays this video, and my son melted down as if Tom Cruise had done a message for him.
Okay.
He goes, you know the Saronster? And I go, I don't really.
Why are we not starting a league, an agency?
Well,
Why
I
are we
think
not
a person
bringing
like
them?
you, a great legal mind, would understand the liability of selling motorcycles to children.
Well,
without
okay, but
licenses.
this thing's called waivers, but these kids are doing it. And,
Yeah, they're going to do it no matter
They're
what.
going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's bring it to Willow Springs.
There's no that's the thing. This is just like the electric scooters when that happened, and the police were down on. Remember, they were in Santa Monica on the bike path,
Yep.
and they made it in 2 hours. They had a pile 3 stories high of electric scooters, and they went, "We're not doing this anymore. Everybody just ride safely." Right? That's what's happening right now, at least in West LA. The kids who are riding on bike paths, who are wearing bike helmets or any helmets, riding 20 miles an hour and not being a problem, they're all fine. The kids who are doing jumps in parks and wheelies in Century City Mall, they're getting arrested. It's just like the Lamborghini guys ruining it for us.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was shocked. I think I told you that I went down to Manhattan Beach High School to show McLaren off to this car club there. There was hundreds of electric bikes. Every single kid showed up to school on an electric bike.
They ride electric motorcycles to
wild.
school now.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, if you go and look in the parking lot, there'll be 20 or 30 of these things. And you want to go and say everything that's wrong with it, but then you go, God, if I were 15 or 16 and I had this, I would be so freaking happy. I had the Hodaka Combat Wombat.
Oh.
I rode it to school once before the police said nope. But the autonomy these kids have, it's really cool.
No,
And
that's
it's,
great. That was my favorite thing in the world till I got a driver's license was my bike. That was my
exactly right.
That's the only way I got anywhere.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's always great when this stuff happens on its own, Like skateboarding, the same thing. It was
But-
very disruptive. There were lots of arrests. We're in industrial areas. People are mad. And now look.
But I remember very well February of my 6th grade year. My mom said, if you can get student of the month, you can get the Kuwahara BMX bike.
Yeah.
So I got student of the month, only time ever, and I got that. It was $300.
Wow.
So 15 to 20 grand in a bike.
The high point of Lieberman's life.
It was
sixth grade.
It was.
But kids, like dads, if you're listening, if your son goes, I just want one of these, and you go, oh, I'm going to bite the bullet. They're now between $3,000 and $4,000, right? Or
But even that, I mean, it's a lot for.
But here's the thing: the day it comes, they start modifying. They don't tell you the second piece.
Right.
I need this controller, we're redoing the seats, and then you're doubling that immediately.
And that's a lot of money for a battery. $3,000 is a lot of money.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. But that's a good jump from 60 to 72. You get a lot more power out.
Well, now all the new bikes, like the Talaria MX-5, which it comes with everything, they come with 72. It's kind of like the new rev limit for all these cars.
Right.
Everything's 72 volts. It just gets bigger and bigger and cheaper and cheaper.
God bless them.
Yeah, they're doing it right. And I'm right there with them. We were out on those today. We were out on the Santa Cruz bikes. The Santa Cruz bikes, my mountain bike people, forgive me. But we were filling up the tires with some air, and the front tire of the Santa Cruz starts spewing blue sealant, like a volcano, like that. And then seals up on its own. And then we were riding it up.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. Those Santa Cruz bikes are incredible. I have a little more trouble with those dual shock bikes than I do with the cake bike or the Suron, the stuff that I ride, because you can jump off anything and you just don't feel any landing. It's just so soft, but it's so light at the same time. But those Santa Cruz bikes, which are soon to be Porsche powered, I hear. Are it. To me, that's, how Rivian is to the Volkswagen Group, Santa Cruz bikes is to Porsche.
So, Zuckerman, are you seeing an uptick in personal injury electric bike cases?
Interestingly, the answer to that is no.
Okay, that's good.
And I've got very few of those cases, and I don't know if that's
the emergency rooms are.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of these. These accidents are solo accidents. You're trying to do a trick and you get messed up.
No
but
one to
so far,
sue.
I haven't seen. I have one or two auto versus electric bike.
When you see them, because I do fall. I do somehow. It's in my algorithm. I'm now getting them. It tends to be 11 o'clock at night. And riding on a Strode, 2-lane fast speed, and places where they shouldn't be. Like my kids, I sit them down to a map of West LA, and I go, "Here's where you don't ride." There's no Sunset Boulevard in your life. There's no San Vicente. There's no PCH. They want to go out to Santa Monica Pier. I go, show me the path you're taking, and it's all back roads. And I go, we stop at stop signs. We stay in bike lanes. We don't go over 25. And if I see wheelies on Instagram or any of that crap, the bikes get taken away. And they follow the rules. But there are parents that aren't doing that. It's important to me that the supplements I take are of the highest quality, and that's why for 300 years I've been drinking AG1. Unlike many supplement brands, AG1 conducts relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency. AG1 is constantly searching for how to do things better. At 52 iterations of their formula and counting, their team is always trying to find better ways to source, test, and aim to find the best quality ingredients available. It's tested for 950 contaminants and banned substances.
It only has 949.
While the industry standard typically only tests for 10. AG1 is NSF certified for sport, one of the most rigorous independent quality and safety certification programs. I guess that that tennis player, better take this instead. He just got flagged for some sort of drug use at some tournament he was playing. They obsess over product quality, the standards of manufacturing, partners, and sustainable practices. AG1's team relies on expert-led scientific research, sourcing ingredients for both potency and purity. That's you, Zuckerman. Potency
and purity.
So if you want to replace your multivitamin, and you do, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription at drinkag1.com/spike911. That's drinkag1.com/spike911. Check it out. Zuckerman,
sir.
You have a new car.
I do.
You have one of the most spectacular winged cars to put next to your other spectacular winged car.
Yes.
That's got the kids crazy. Tell everybody what it is.
It is a 1974 BMW 3.0 CSL Series 2 Batmobile in Gulf Yellow.
It's wild.
It's a beautiful car, and it's got an incredible. It's an incredible car. You really understand.
What's the horsepower on this thing?
The horsepower? It's rated at 206 horsepower.
And what year did you say?
1974.
Oh,
I'm going
wow.
to tell you that engine probably dynos with more power than what it's rated at, because if I compare it to a 73 RS, which we know is 210 brake horsepower, on a car that weighs, 2,200 pounds, give or take a little bit, this car might weigh in at about 26 to 2,800 pounds, depending on trim levels as a CSL. But the amount of torque and oomph that comes from that inline six, it really hauls that big car very quickly.
It's spectacular looking.
If you know the history, Porsche is killing BMW in European Touring Car Championships, Group 2, various races in Europe. Even Ford Capris are doing better than BMW. And future GM CEO Bob Lutz,
Right.
who's German, American.
Swiss, but yeah.
Swiss. He is given the job at BMW to do something about that, and he comes up with the CSL. He doesn't have a lot of options for a fast car in the BMW lineup at that time, and he's got the 3.0 CS. He's got the CSI, and he takes it and he puts a lot of aluminum in it. There's aluminum door panels.
You were having us touch the roof.
The roof is as you said, tin foil.
Is it fragile? Like, are you worried? Like,
If somebody put their hand on it, for sure.
Or an acorn. I mean, that was the thinnest roof I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Like,
So there's thin glass, there's thin steel, there's a lot of weight saving.
You said they took 400 pounds out of the CS?
Yes, they took
Wow.
400
That's real
pounds
lightweight.
out of it.
Yeah.
So it really, it feels like a BMW. It's got a wide stance. It's got great balance. On the track back in the day, because it's water cooled, they were able to extract 480 horsepower out of that thing. So they were killing Porsche.
So it's like the precursor to the M motors.
Yeah, and so they had to get the wing for downforce because they're getting too much lift. Of course, Porsche's response was the giant boot of fate coming down in the form of the 935. They just said, okay, but we're just going to blow you. Fuck you. But this car, the Series 2 was punched out to 3.2. It's actually got a 3.2 engine in it.
Torquey,
Yeah, so that's where I think the torque comes from.
And the wing has 3 supports.
3 supports.
Were they all like that?
Series 1 has 2, just the outside. So these are rare version of rare cars, and this was the only car sold new in the Americas, in the Western Hemisphere.
And how many of them are there?
Well, there were 57 Series 2. Nobody knows.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
there's a handful of them left.
So
But
you bought a museum piece.
I bought a museum piece. So
Yeah, I have not seen one of those.
Here's the
wings
backstory from Felipe Garcia of Mint Classics in Munich. And Felipe is Colombian, and this car was purchased brand new in Colombia. And back in the day, there were no photographs of what a CSL was. So a guy walks into the dealership in Bogota. He sees CSL.
Was his name Escobar?
Yeah, it's by far the most expensive vehicle on the price list. And he thinks the L is for lux, luxury.
Sure.
So he pays for the car, a godly sum of money, princely sum of money back then. And then probably 9 months later, this thing arrives in Gulf Yellow looking like that. And apparently the guy's wife would not get in the car. The guy was very upset to see a race car. And he immediately told them that they needed to strip off the wing, retrim the interior in leather, and paint the car black. And as a result, the car was lost for years because everybody knew there was a CSL in Colombia. Nobody knew where it went to.
Wow.
How would they? Yeah.
And they wouldn't know. And fast forward to 2015, so 40 years later, 42 years later, or 41 years later, there's a car in a shop. And the tech this is in Bogota. He's struggling to get the fuel injection. It's got primitive fuel injection, and he can't get it to work right. Some people in the local BMW club see the car in there. They're looking at it. They're kind of interested because the back windows won't go down. Instead of because those CSs,
right.
both
Get
windows
the pillarless
go down.
coupe look.
Yeah, the pillarless coupe look. These back windows don't go down. They called the owner and they say, "What do you know about the car?" And he said, "I don't know much except it's got aluminum panels." So they ran back there with a magnet. Of course, a magnet doesn't stick to aluminum. Now they know they've got a CSL, but there were many There were, I think, 1,200 CSLs, only 170 Batmobiles. They ran the VIN number, and it came up to Batmobile.
Wow.
Right.
That's a great story.
And
that's exciting.
And so Felipe got involved. His mother was in Bogota. They went and talked to everybody who was involved in this transaction, and it was decided it was better for the car to go to Felipe because he had been stockpiling parts for these cars. He was starting to restore them. So he actually bought this car to Germany. He flew it in 2018 from Colombia to Munich, and for 6 years he restored it with every single part original, not even reproduction, not remanufactured, all original
Just
parts,
new old stock,
down to the wing, down to everything had proper VDO markings for parts or whoever the manufacturer was, and he was going to use this car for himself. And lo and behold, in the past year or two, he came across Bob Lutz's personal road CSL, and Bob Lutz had the only road-going CSL that was painted black and had the box fenders of the race cars. So when he found that car, he said, this car's got to go. And, of course, he called the world's greatest sucker for a story like this, and the car then flew to L.A.
What
I liked about it is, like, the pinstriping is insane. Because, like, performance-wise, look, it's a 50-year-old car.
Right.
You know, lots of stuff will go quick or whatever. But, like, the detailing on this car, the pinstriping, off the charts. The vents, it has 2 fender vents and 2 hood vents that are metal vents. Like the last gen, the AMG GT had the 4-vent look, which is a great look. Plastic. There were plastic vents on the AMG. You know, this is metal vents. It's just killer car.
It's a fun car in that color to drive. The reaction from people, whoever they are, whatever socioeconomic demographic they are, old, young, people trip on it. They have no idea really what they're looking at. They obviously recognize it's a BMW by the grille and the badges, and they lose their minds.
That's awesome.
What a well-told story, Zuckerman. I mean, you really just made me love that car with that story.
Isn't it the greatest?
I absolutely just fell in love with the car. You actually, I mean, it's just amazing what a story can do when you apply it to a vehicle like that. I looked at it and I went, well, this is cool, yeah, but now...
You should see some of the paperwork I have. The paperwork, it's such a different time, and it's within our lifetimes, but everything that BMW wanted to do commercially with Colombia back then, there was a department in the consulate that all of the paperwork had to go through the consulate. It's got every piece of paperwork. If they wanted to sell 5 different models in 1974, they had to send paperwork to the consulate. It then has all the crazy South American stamps on it. So I've got all of that stuff, the discussions of what the various models would for 1974.
I just mean, though, but putting it back the way it was built.
Yes. Yeah.
Fixing that wrong. That wrong is now fixed in the world forever, hopefully. Yeah. And it just moves forward. That's it.
It is a great story.
I forgot how great that thing, a restoration can be.
And you know, the other
the right way.
Yeah.
The other thing Lutz did at BMW in '73 was he came up with the ultimate driving machine.
That was his idea?
That was his idea because he spoke English.
What a contribution.
Yeah. Doesn't sound so good in German, but they were trying to, like...
I remember Letterman had Bob Lutz on the show. And I was like, why is he putting this guy on, this car guy?
Lutz is great.
Yeah.
Did he call him a pinhead? Hey, Letterman, you pinhead.
You know, the one last thing about, of course, you don't know anything about how a foreign country deals there, how their Department of Motor Vehicles deals. But in Colombia, at least back in the day, if you wanted to color change your car, you had to go and you had to seek the blessing of the DMV and get a proper form stamped.
Wow.
So you can see the history that the car was black. Then someone painted it red. Then someone painted it more like a primrose yellow. When it was spotted on the street in Bogota, it was like a sunflower yellow kind of a color.
But so that thin aluminum, which, by the way, like I've seen stuff like, you know, like Maserati, like A6Gs with aluminum that thin. How much body repair did your buddy in Munich have?
You know, these cars were notorious for rust because at the bottom sills, they had honeycombed the metal in like the doors and the panels, and they just held on to moisture. The car was in surprisingly great condition considering where it was, how it was cared
but
for.
if you put a bag of groceries on that roof, it would cave it in. I mean, that's amazing it survived that long.
I think they had to, get the proper gauge metal in a couple of spots and weld it in, but it was essentially, other than missing the wing,
right,
and obviously didn't have the shieldless seats. And I want to tell if Porsche's listening, take these shieldless seats from 1974 BMW. Sit in those mofos. Okay, I could drive cross country there and back 7 times and not have a complaint about comfort.
Wow. And that's a very high compliment for Zuckermand. Well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. A fine show. Good to be back with you guys. Mm-hmm. We've been hanging with Matt Farah and Zach Clapman.
You had Zach on, yeah.
Zach, very popular guy.
Zach's awesome.
Yeah, he was funny. We'll have him back.
He was an aspiring stand-up at one point, I believe.
I'm going to play us out with one of my other Radimak songs. I think there are 6 of them. Here, let me see this one. No, that's not right.
More Radimak.
Let's see. I can press this button right here.
Cruising down the boulevard, engine more loud and hard. He's got that look in his eye.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
Pipe in hand, he's set to fly.
I'm sorry for these earworms. This is the one they got wrong with. They say Radimak is free. But it has one... Can't escape, you'll see.
Tires squish, the night ignites, raging hard beneath the lights, swerving lanes, no turning back. Radimak is on the attack.
There you go. Radimak is on the attack. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful out there. Otherwise, Radimak might get you.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday and be sure to subscribe. Now, I'm gonna take a nap.